Yeah.
But
Was there,
anyway.
you brought up earlier about like the short films and stuff and the fact that like now you can go on YouTube and just find them. Was there a short film or a movie that like really inspired you? Like once you started thinking like, maybe I can do this, was there something that really was like, no, that's it. Like I need to do that.
I was looking up short films like crazy, and I saw this one short film called Selfies. That inspired me to make The Car. And then I had a friend at work who had the black Mustang, Jimmy Stroger, and we used to, and it was just literally me, him, the black Mustang, my iPhone, a tripod, and that's it. That was my first short. And to this day, Josh, it's probably my most popular short film next to the photo shoot.
Why don't we talk a little bit about the differences of like what it was like shooting that short film your first time as compared to working on your feature now?
The short film was a lot of fun because it was new. It was although I was already starting to notice my OCD to perfection was already kicking in right away, you know, because I would redo, you know, I redid scenes a few times. I would go back to Jimmy's house. I'm like, hey Jimmy, we got to redo that scene. So even though it was a 6-minute short, I did spend a little bit of time on it, you know, because I just wanted it to be perfect, you know, and looking at it now, you know, it's not perfect, but
it was for what your capabilities were at the time when you're a first time filmmaker though, right? Like,
I think so, you know, I think like when it was finished, I was satisfied. And I think, you know, once you have the satisfaction, that's good. That, you know, that's what you want. If you're unsatisfied, you know, you got to get satisfied somehow, whether it's through editing or reshooting or what, like, you know, so, you know, I look back at it now and I think it's perfectly imperfect, you know, but that's how I like it. That's good because now I could look at that and like, it could tell me, you know, where I was at that time, you know, and it's still pretty darn good. Like I'm still surprised at it, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
What did you use? Like, did you transfer over like techniques or things that you learned from that gear that you learned from that to your feature? Or are you on completely different gear, completely different strategies and styles? Or do you feel like making a feature film is similar to making a short film, just a lot more days and a lot more steps?
Is it similar? I mean, it's similar in the sense of when I film a scene in my feature, it's similar in that sense. Like the scene is a short, you know. Ideally, I would like to film the scene in one day. That hasn't always happened, you know. And shorts are like that too. You know, sometimes you don't call everybody back and reshoot. You know, I'm sure that's happened, right? Where
we did a few reshoots. I mean, like you said, you think it's perfect, but then you sit down to edit and you realize there's one scene that you have to have, but the way you did it originally is not working. Whether the camera settings were slightly off and you just can't color correct it, or the audio, and it's like when it's pivotal, like it's got to be done right. So that's when you take the time to pull in the people and like, hey, I'm sorry, I know we already did this, but
I know.
But when you do the reshoots, so I've noticed they always end up way better because you've got the experience, you got to see it, you got to see what you did wrong. So in a way, I feel like almost every scene that I've ever reshot has been probably one of the strongest scenes in the film because it was just, I had more time to work on it and critique it and make it what I wanted.
Right. And man, the last thing I want to do is call people back.
Right.
I hate calling people back because, you know, most of the time, like sometimes it's hard to get everybody back on the same day, you know? So that's like my last resort, you know, I'll do whatever I have to do with editing. I'm like, if I could edit this where I don't have to call anybody back, you know, if I could get creative somehow. But yeah, so like usually if I call people back, it's because I have to,
yeah,
you know?
One of the things that I actually really respected about you since day one in filmmaking is you were always very particular about your actors. Like you understood right off the bat, like if you don't have people that know what they're doing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've given me a lot of inspiration on like what to go and how to kind of pursue that further, and like things to look for in people and things like that. Like finally, I feel like I've built a really good team now. I mean, I tend to work with the same people a lot because I'm a smaller production, but even at our level, like it's tough because